And I hadn't achieved and finished anything in my life. I was 34 years old. Only thing I fucking finished maybe was my GED. I didn't finish parole, probation, because I was always violating. I didn't finish anything. I had successfully drove myself to treatment.
Welcome back to another episode of the Journey to Solutions podcast, where we interview people from all walks of life, aiming to inspire our listeners that there is a life out there beyond your absolute wildest dreams, regardless of where you're currently at or your past circumstances. Today, we got RJ with us.
Awesome. How you guys doing? Nice to meet you. First and foremost, I just want to just give somebody some flowers, man. My guy, Marco. The way we met and how we met, and those two people that we met through are no longer here anymore. Rest in peace to my cousin J.U. and our friend Gary.
Right.
So I just want to let you know, man, that I'm super proud of you, you know, where you came from, your journey and journey to solutions. Just by you adhering to what I had told you that day I saw you. And for you to understand that I had no fear to say that in front of those two people that are not here anymore. Yep. And for you to be able to grab a hold of what you want to do, still inside of that, and being able to separate yourself from that is amazing. I love you. You're my man. I see you every week. I cut your hair. So just love you, bro.
For anybody out there, RJ is the greatest barber in the world, and I mean that with deep conviction. But to give the listeners a little bit of context, right?
Yeah.
I was in treatment that time. I just got off of a bid, just finished up doing a year. I had 25 years hanging over my head at that time, and the victim came in, and he said, "I don't want to see him locked up for the rest of his life." He was high at the time of that incident, and I got court mandated to a 6-month program.
Wow.
And I was released to that program, and I was out with Gary at that time. And your cousin, and I'll never forget, you came up to me with deep conviction in your heart.
That's right.
And you said, "Fam," and you looked at me in the eyes, and you said, "Is that what you want to look like?"
That's it.
You said, "You either work the steps, you work the program, or you're gonna die."
Gives me chills.
But you said it with love in your heart.
That's right.
Right? No conceived notions whatsoever. And I'm so grateful for you, bro.
Yeah. No doubt.
You know, it's all love. You know, a man of wisdom, full of treasure. I'm so excited for my listeners today.
No doubt.
To be able to hear what you're going to be, sharing with them. You know, you were with me through all of it.
Absolutely.
Even when I was incarcerated, back when I was in the midst of my sobriety, I called you up, and you put money on the books.
That's right.
So you've shown yourself to be true. In and out. You're the friend I can call at 2:00 in the morning, and you're going to be there for me. So truly grateful from the bottom of my heart.
Absolutely. Likewise. Anytime we show up.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. We show up. That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts.
So let's talk a little bit about, your upbringing, what that looked like, and then that pivotal transformational moment in your life that's led you to where you are today.
Okay. What's the profanity like on this thing?
Be you. Be you. Be authentically, genuinely you. Just be you.
Okay. Well, from the East Coast.
Right.
East Coast guy. Of course, and we East Coast guy as well. So, we just meshed once we met, man. It's just like kindred souls, man. So, I grew up in South Jersey. My mom's from West Philly. Right. My dad, he's from Camden, New Jersey. And in my immediate home, it was love, man. It was love. Even outside the home, it was love. Both of my grandparents were married till they passed. I still have my grandparents, my one grandparent on my dad's side, which is my mom. She's the one that saved my life. Love her with all my heart, and my mother as well. But on my mom's side, my grandparents, they both passed in the 90s, late 90s. But what I saw growing up was the good, the bad, and the ugly. I seen everything. right? Growing up in the 80s, you know, a lot of things changed when certain things got put into the neighborhood. Um, and, you know, before crack cocaine, you know, there was cocaine, and it was partying. So you could see the change. You could see it, you know, when it was just partying and alcohol and cocaine, you know, it didn't really break anything. There was still some issues, but once that crack came, it just shattered families and just shattered lives, you know, inside of our neighborhood, inside of our family, essentially. I have an uncle, my uncle Ricky. That's on my dad's side. That's my papa. Rest in peace. Um, he passed away in the life,
Right.
you know, and you know, my papa passed away, being able to see me on the other side,
Right.
right? Seeing me sober, see me successful,
Right.
seeing me able to conquer those demons. My papa saw that,
Right.
and I'm forever grateful for that. Absolutely. But you know, in my immediate family, in my home, you know, it was drugs and alcohol. There was fighting. There was toxicity. There was abuse, verbal, physical, things of that nature. Um, but we dealt with it. We dealt with it. That was just part of what it was. Um, there were things that I saw that I probably shouldn't have seen that shaped me. Um, there was things that in that environment that a child has no business being exposed to,
What were some
right?
of those things that you were exposed to?
Um, I would say, of course, drugs, alcohol, physical abuse. Um, I wasn't abused sexually, but I saw sex. I saw that because when you're, you know, a young kid, you're running through the house or you're, you know, waking up in the morning, you may see things or hear things that you're not supposed to, but you're there. You know what I mean? Um, I remember, you know, my dad would take me to one of his, uh, you know, a
His
little
side of
side
shit.
piece.
Yeah,
He would
yeah.
take me, you know,
Right.
and I saw that. Didn't really know how to,
Make
make
sense
sense
out of
of it.
it.
You know what I mean? I just really, because she had kids, and we over there playing with her kids. You
Right.
know, this is what it was.
Right.
But then I did understand that something wasn't right, and that's when I let my mom know.
What was that sense? What did you sense that that something was wrong?
Disloyalty.
Disloyalty.
Yeah,
Disloyalty. And who really
disloyalty.
and who ingrained that loyalty in you? Because to be able to see there was disloyalty,
Right.
you had to understand what loyalty was.
Right.
Right.
I would say, like I said, both sides of my family, on my dad's side and my mom's side.
Right.
I saw what a man is supposed to do in the home, and I saw I saw the roles,
Right.
right, that were being played, right. Um, my papa said something to me when I was younger that I really didn't get
Right.
until I had my own family,
Right.
until I got older. He said, "You're not gonna understand the roles that are being played right now because you don't have to play them yet.
Right.
So when you see your father and your father was a man before he was your father, and your mother was a woman before she was your mother. So they're going to act out of that role sometimes before they act out of the role that you know them as. So that could just be a shock to you, and that's what was happening. They were acting out of that role as a man and a woman and not my mother and my father. I'm sorry. And that's what I saw. And until I was able to have my own family and see me start to act out of those roles, that's when I understood.
So let me ask you something. How do you define a man today? What does a man look like to you today?
Pro-
Internally.
provision.
Right.
You have to provide. Strength. You have to have strength. You have to have emotional intelligence and discipline.
Right.
And you cannot act off of everything that bothers you and gets on your nerves and want to handle them with your fists. We can't do that. That's just my definition of what a man and how a man acts, because those two men that I told you about, my grandfathers, my pop-up and my grandfather, they didn't ever raise their voice. They didn't have to. They could just look at you. And you already knew what time it was. You already know what time because of the way that they conducted themselves. It was discipline. Wake up early. take care of the family, take care of the yard, take care of work. Watch it was a routine. There wasn't none of this going out sitting at the bar. I never saw that from my grandfather. I never saw that. I never saw him leave the house and go sit at the bar. I never saw that from them. So, you know, being able to see that and see how they took care of the home, and then they showed that to me. You take care of your family, you take care of your woman, and you take care of your children. That was the loyalty that I saw.
You know, my father as a kid would always ingrain into me. He would say, "Look, Marco, when your emotions are high, the ability to find solution is at an all-time low."
Absolutely.
And that's for good and that's for bad.
Yep.
Right? We no longer act on our emotions or feelings. They make great indicators,
Right.
but they're awful guidelines.
Absolutely.
Right? We did,
Beautiful way to put it.
You know, and that's stuck with me all through my life, through all aspects, you know, of my life. Take us a little bit through your addiction. How did that start?
Absolutely. I would say my addiction started, I would say before early teens. I knew I had a sex addiction first.
Right.
That's what I knew I had first. I knew I had a sex addiction first, because I loved women.
Right.
I loved seeing a woman's body. I already knew what time it was.
Right.
And you know, of course, you know, like every man, bro. Like, you know, when you're young, you find every way, every little chance to get the jack off. Right. That's just how it was. And then you become you sexually addicted to masturbating. That's just how it was. You know, then got introduced to smoking weed. Right. And I say summer '92. Full-blown weed head.
And how old were you at this time? 12 years old.
Yep. 12 years old. My mom would leave some money on the table when she left for work, because she worked for Kansas City school system. My pop, who's passed away, rest in peace, he was the superintendent of the Kansas City school system. Right. So he gave everybody in my family jobs, had everybody, you know, held everybody down. And I had a couple guys in the neighborhood, and as soon as she left, I'm going to. You got the money and I got the money for this. And we go get our situation, and go in the back of the building, and we light up, and we did it every day. Right. And I didn't know till, you know, looking back in retrospect, that disease of addiction was in me.
Yeah,
it was in me
before you even ever picked up.
Before I even picked up, right. It was in me. Right. And I didn't know how to recognize it then, but now, of course, doing the shadow work and understanding and talking about it. Right. I get it.
And that's why we do these stories, right? Because our lives are the greatest roadmap and blueprint to another person's breakthrough. So when we share this wisdom, you guys out there don't have to go through the fire that we went through.
That's right.
You can learn from our stories. That's why we do this. That's why we speak publicly. But go ahead.
Or if you do go through the fire, you know how to put yourself out. You'll know how to get out. You'll have that solution, right? Because we're giving you the background of what that looks like, and being transparent. My papa, you're gonna hear me talk about my papa and my grandfather through this whole fucking show, because these are the guys that gave me so much wisdom. That's who I am because of the seeds that they planted in me. They just gave me so many gems and just dropping gems everywhere.
Right.
But the transparency, I'm not afraid of who I am.
Right.
You understand? I'm not afraid of where I was. I'm not afraid to talk about if I had sexual addiction or whatever the case may be, because I've seen guys that have been ashamed of who they are, and they're not here. Right. Because they were afraid to be themselves because of a woman, because of another guy, because of the group or the crew or the gang and all this bullshit. You afraid of some motherfucker that don't even give a fuck about you.
Right. Right.
You want to make them feel good and throw your shit away. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
That's why sometimes it's not even the weed, right? Like we talked about, it's not even the pills. Sometimes the worst drug can be that love drug.
That's it.
Right? That love drug. But being able to publicly admit what it is that we go through is true strength today, right? Talks about it in the 5th step, right?
Absolutely.
Confess to God, to ourselves, and to another human being, the exact nature of our wrongs.
Absolutely.
And when we do that, it does something special for us.
Man.
It frees us. It frees us of
Freedom.
that bondage
Freedom.
of self so we can get into service of others.
Absolutely.
And that's why we do this today.
That's it.
That's why we're doing this, is to give you the sauce.
That's it.
Right? So you don't have to put yourself through it. Or like he said, when you do, you'll have a level of understanding behind it today. When people come to me, I got my brother in town right now.
Love him. Love, bro.
Authentic, genuine.
Call me whatever.
Genuine.
I'll take care of it.
Right. And he's coming to me and he's asking me certain questions, right? Because he's out here to be mentored and things of that nature. I said, go get on the computer and go research it yourself.
That's it.
He goes, why can't you tell me? I said, because I want you to know for yourself. Right. Everybody's intrinsically different from individual to individual. Yeah. It's not one size fits all. No. Right. But my hope is through all these stories that we share, there's that one person that you can relate with.
That's right. That's what it's about.
One person that you can relate with. So how did your addiction progress over time from smoking the weed?
Yeah. So smoking the weed, not wanting to be in school. I just always wanted to have fun. Right. That's just who I was. Like I said, I was raised around, partying and sex and drugs and all that. I just wanted to have fun. That was just my thing. And school was not a part of that. School was not fun. I'm not gonna lie to you. School wasn't fun, cuz. You know what I mean? So always had an issue with that. Not going to school. While I'm in school, I'm not in class. I'm trying to holler at bras. I'm trying to do whatever I can to not be in, because it was boring to me. Right. I didn't want to be there. Right. And through that, of course, getting disciplined, getting changed at school, go to different school, going away for a little bit. And when I went away to this it's called boot camp challenge program in Fort Dix. That's when I tried acid for the first time while I was away, and that was a whole nother feeling. But I liked it. Yeah. Here again, I liked it, and these feelings I ran to. Right. These amazing feelings. I ran to those things. It wasn't like it was something that it was like, nah, I could try that. Nah, I don't need to do that again. No, I want to keep doing this.
You love that. You love that feeling.
That feeling.
Now, looking back in retrospect, did you see it maybe as a mechanism to escape self, to what you were really, really dealing with, what you were going through behind the scenes?
I think so, to a degree, man. To a degree, because at that time, yes. There were things that had happened in the process of me going away, right? My mom and dad got divorced. Right. My mom was going through her situation, having a nervous breakdown. She was going through a divorce with with my dad at the time. So, there was things that she was going through that I didn't understand. Right. I'm a young teenage guy. I'm a young teenage kid. I'm doing my shit, and maybe she's not knowing how to respond. Right. And getting beatings and putting her hands on me, shit like that. That shit that's not sitting right well with me. Right. Seeing different men in the house, that ain't sitting well with me. Right. And maybe choosing them or choosing something else besides me. Yeah. The young boy that was there for you when you were getting your ass beat at times. I didn't want to go nowhere. Right. I just want to make sure you're okay, right? And then making it feel like you're turning your back on me. I didn't know that this would do it, but when it did, that's what I liked. It separated me from that, right? It allowed me to chill and creating these bonds with other people that were also going through the same shit. You know what I mean? Because when we get together, if I'm going knock on somebody's door or something like that, their mom and dad going through it, or they're going through because the cops going to the crib.
And then we start trauma bonding.
Yeah. That's what happens. And then before you know it, now we weed bonded. Now we drink bond and all that shit. And that's when it progressed. Yeah. To that degree until I went away.
Right. And over there you tried the acid.
The acid. Right. And I loved it. Yeah.
And where did it go after that?
After that, I got my GED while I was in there, though. Okay. Even though I was in that boot camp, man, and while I was there, I learned a lot. I learned more discipline, right? Because it was actually on a military base at Fort Dix, right? So I learned a lot there, man. I really did.
And how old did you say you were at this time?
16. Yeah, man. And I met a homie there. He was from South Jersey because the further you go up, there's more city in North Jersey than there is in South Jersey. So when you go away, I don't know if anybody's familiar with it. When you go away, you know, you link up with the people from where you from.
Right.
So whatever part of South Jersey you link up with, that's who you link up with.
Right.
Whatever city that is, and it wasn't too many of us. There's more North Jersey guys. You know, you got Irvington, you got Patterson, you got Jersey City, Newark. You got all them.
Right.
And it's some wild dudes up there. So first 2 weeks, all we doing is fighting.
Right.
And I linked up with my homie Robbie, man, and me and him still friends to this day.
Right.
And you know, that was my man who gave me the acid, as a matter of fact. Gave me my first tattoo and all that, man. Greek and Puerto Rican dude, man. Good guy. Good guy, held me down. Still does. It's my guy. But that's when I saw it. When I left there, came back home, started smoking weed again, and I knew that right there, it was just like, now I'm looking back,
Yeah.
I'm seeing it progress. And then I would say I was probably 18, 19. My uncle had got a bottle of hydrocodone,
Yeah.
and for some reason I wanted to take it. I don't know what it was, but I took it, and that feeling,
Right.
I ate all of them within like a couple days and just stayed in the crib. And from there, you know, dinner and dope fiend.
When did you get that aha moment? Realize that, okay, this is progressively getting out of control. I got to do something different. Because looking back now, you were able to see it then.
Yeah.
But when were you able to identify it in that very, very moment?
I would say in my 20s. I would say in my 20s because I had went to a college party
Okay.
up in New Brunswick. Long story short, got jumped there, got robbed there too as well. And then on our way home, a homie of mine, he put an oxy in my mouth. This was probably like 99, 2000. And from that feeling, that's when the oxys had kind of hit my area.
Right.
Right. And it was in the music too, you know, perks. And you know where I'm from, man, you know, in Philly also, you got Pharmaceutical Alley. And my dad told me back in the day, they were pancakes and syrup. So syrup's been around for a long time. And perks and Quaaludes and all that kind of shit, volumes and all that. So, you know, 17th and Jefferson, that was a major strip.
Right.
So, you know, we started hitting that up here and there. You know, maybe like on a weekend. Then before you know it, you're going on a Tuesday. But before you know it, you're going Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then now it's every day you're going. Now they're outside of J Street. Now you're going to your homie. Now you're finding them all over the place, right? Now by this time, I had met my son's mother on a cruise. But even before that, man, cutting hair in the barbershop, you know, perks everywhere. Right. That was just what it was in my area. Right. And I didn't know that I was addicted yet, though.
Right.
I just knew that I wanted to do it.
Right.
Because it felt good.
Right.
You know, you don't attach that to being dope sick
Right.
or having withdrawal.
When did you first identify that you got dope sick? Because I didn't even realize it at first. I didn't see. You see, that's the thing, is that the drugs were glorified to me, right? But I didn't see what it looked like behind the veil, right? I didn't see people getting incarcerated. I didn't see the divorces taking place. I didn't see the fact that kids couldn't stand their parents, right? I didn't see grown men shivering, you know? So when were you able to identify that, hey, look, I'm dope sick, I'm withdrawing, like I need that next fix?
So I would say my early 20s, man. My early 20s is when I started because now, you know, I'm in that world.
Right.
Now I'm in that world. So now you're seeing it. Yeah. Because now I put myself inside of that environment. Yeah. So now you're understanding what it is.
You're fully embedded into it.
I was fully embedded into it. Right. You know, growing up where I was at, in my specific neighborhood, it was just crack and coke and weed. Right. It wasn't heroin. It wasn't none of that yet. You know, by the time, like I said, when I got into my late teens, early 20s, I was out of my house. Right. And now it was other places like in the city or, you know, in the suburbs like away from where I was at, them kids, they was heroin addicts. It's you know, white folks, you know what I'm saying? Away from where I was from. They were going through that shit, middle class families.
Right.
You know, there was a high school, Washington Township High School. This is predominantly white.
Right.
It's called Heroin High,
Yep.
and it's been like that for a long time. Now, I didn't know that
Yep.
because where I was at, it was a. I'm a keep it real with you. It was different kind of white people.
Right.
You know, we were around Italians and Irish motherfuckers that they didn't have the money to be dope heads or pill heads because their moms didn't have that access.
Yep.
Now, when you got to upper middle class, that's when you had the white moms that had the Xannies and the perks and Dr. Shop, and those kids were able to have access to pills. So it was a little different
Yeah,
from where.
I call it the Jersey Housewife Starter Pack, bro. A glass
So you
of
know,
a glass of
you
Cabernet,
know, yeah,
Virginia Slim Ultralight,
yeah,
and Xanax,
yep.
stored in every cabinet.
Every cabinet.
How did you make your way out to California?
So I made my way out to Cali. My grandma, man. My pop. He he had a heartbeat in the community, as far as me, because I mean, like I said, I'm a popular guy where I'm from,
Yeah.
man. Being able to be blessed with these hands to cut hair,
Yeah.
and be I would say a person that was able to get exposure outside of where I'm from. I was able to go to the suburbs, able to go to the city. I had family in the city, so wherever we went, going to the clubs and just getting to know people around, and I would bring my core group of homies.
Yeah.
You got to know your family. That's just how it was. We all knew each other's family. If we gonna be cool, it was inevitable. I got to know your family.
Real relationships.
Real relationships, man.
Kneecap to kneecap.
Yeah, bro. It
relationships,
wasn't
not surface.
No,
Yep.
not at all. So, I got guys right now. I know moms, like second mom, third mom, whatever, vice versa. So, my pop knew he knew where I was at because he asked somebody. Excuse me. And matter of fact, no, I'm lying. Two of my homies, a guy named L and E.
Right.
He's like my brother. They came to my pop and said, we gotta do something. We gotta do something. Cause I done OD'd so many times. They didn't see me in the barbershop looking crazy.
Yeah.
By this time I'm tore down.
Yeah.
And my pop came to where I was at, dope sick.
Yeah.
And they came upstairs and told me, yo, your pop's at the door. So of course I gotta go down there. He said, come on, you gotta come with me.
Let's get transparent with our listeners.
Yeah.
Right. Because a lot of people out there haven't yet experienced withdrawals.
Right.
What did those withdrawals feel like behind the closed doors?
Oh man. Like you want to die. You don't want to move. You don't even want to get up, go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You don't even want to move your arm to turn on the TV. It just feels like death. Your bones hurt. You're aching. You're yawning. Your eyes are watering. Anything that you could think of that you need to do that's regular, you don't even want to do that.
I heard somebody tell me one time. He said to me, he goes, the pathway to heaven, it feels like hell. But the pathway to hell, it feels like heaven. And that rings so true because that first line of dope, it felt so good.
Yeah.
But it got progressively worse over time.
Right.
But the opposite way around, when we put that work in,
yeah.
Right.
It's
hard.
Right.
This life isn't easy today. But you know what? We know where it ends.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact.
That's
and
the
you know what? And
promise.
I see. I didn't like heroin.
You didn't like heroin?
I didn't like heroin. I was a speedball guy.
Right.
I didn't like just to be nodded out and gone. Now, there were times where I did like that feeling every once in a while, or I did too much and didn't do enough powder or didn't do enough, to be able to keep me up. And I ended up I took too many Xannies, whatever the case may be. But H was never my thing. I tried it a couple times, but it was just too much. It was too much. I liked the pills and the powder. That was my thing.
So what led you out to California? You ended up coming out to California.
Yeah.
Why did you come? Why did you come out here initially? Was it due to get sober?
Yeah. So like I said, my pop-up came to that house, took me back to his house where my mom was at. Right. When I walked into the house, beautiful crib, like I, you know what I mean? She gave me 3 numbers, 3 phone numbers, right? I called the first one. No matter of fact, no, she didn't. No, that's not how it went. We're not gonna bury you before we go.
Right.
Point blank. Period. You gotta call these numbers. That's it. Cause you gotta get yourself together.
Right.
Called the first number. I didn't have insurance, so they couldn't take me. Called the second number. No answer. Third number, a guy answered the phone. Jeff White. Jeff White answered the phone, and he said, "What's going on?" I told him what was going on, and he said, "You want to come to Cali?" Okay, that's it. I didn't know where in California I was going. Never been to the West Coast. I was like, "All right, whatever." Okay, so we're going to get you some insurance. Just I'll call you back in about 30 days, and then we'll get it situated. So my pop, took me to work every day, cutting hair still, staying with them. And I got that phone call maybe about 45 days later. He was gonna actually let me come stay at his house if I had to, because my mom and pop, they weren't gonna let me keep staying there. That was just no. You get to stay here to to leave. That was your stepping stone. That was your catapult to go where you got to go. And yeah, man, he called me and I was like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Got a plane ticket, ended up going to Philadelphia International Airport. I saw my cousin there. We sat, we drank, got on a plane, landed. Louis picked me up. I still follow him on Facebook. Took me right here to Costa Mesa and I did my intake. And it was beautiful because I had Carl's Jr. for the first time. But
Was it a culture shock for you coming out to California?
yeah, well, so I'm not gonna say culture shock because if you guys aren't familiar with Jersey, bro,
Yeah.
like we all grow up together. So
Right.
it's not like I ain't never been around white people or never been
Right.
around other ethnicities. Like the way
Right.
I grew up, it was African, Jamaican, it was
Right.
Irish, Italian, Puerto Rican. That's all
Right.
how we grew up. It was more so the environment as far as like the weather and how
Right.
beautiful it was.
Right.
But Jersey's got beautiful places too, man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know what I mean? But it wasn't nothing like that. And you know, like I said, being from where I was from, I was exposed to nice shit.
Right.
I didn't just grow up in a fucking hole.
Right.
I'm not from the projects. You know what I mean? I am secure and happy where I come from
Yes.
because I was able to be exposed to different things and different
Right.
people, to shape and mold the person I
Right.
am now. So yeah, coming here, it was more so it was beautiful. I never seen palm
Right.
trees. I never seen how it was so close to just the water and the high hills by the
Right.
all that kind of shit, man. 2 weeks into me being here, we went to it was on Christmas Day, and I was in Newport in the water. I'm looking inland
Right.
on Christmas Day. I'm in the water. I'm seeing snow-capped mountains and I'm seeing palm trees.
Yeah.
All that was happening at one time
Yeah.
on Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm figuring it out.
Yeah.
I'm not going nowhere. I fell in love, cuz that's it. And now, 10 years later,
Right.
I'm here.
So how much time do you have under your belt right now?
10 years sober.
10 years sober.
Yeah.
So as we're on drugs and we're partaking in that life, our life gets progressively worse. But now when we come to God, we get sober, we start working an active program, our
Yeah.
life gets progressively better.
Absolutely.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about how it's progressively gotten better over time, and how has faith in God played a role in your recovery?
God's always been in my life. You know, everybody identifies that higher power
Yeah.
differently. However you identify it,
Yeah.
that's on you. But God was always in my life. You feel what I'm saying? I got a praying grandmother, praying my mom, praying mother, got a praying family, man. But we all have different views,
Right.
and that's okay. But I wouldn't be here without God in the steps. I wouldn't be where I'm at without the steps. That's point blank, period. Without that solid fourth step, without that fifth step, I know for a fact that fourth step and that fifth step saved my life. And I'll tell you why I know why, because I've seen people who don't do it, they ain't here. Or they still fucking up.
That's that evidence.
That's the
The
evidence.
fruit. If you want what we have,
That's it.
you simply just do what we do.
That's it.
There's blueprints all in front of us.
My sponsor that I met. And, that's why this program is just so amazing. If you just honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness, right? If you just put your pride and ego to the side and your preconceived notions and what you think this is supposed to be or how it's gonna look, That's not how this works, right? You got to pay attention to what's being said. Like we're doing this podcast right now, right? You may relate to something from someone that doesn't look nothing like you, that came from nowhere like you came from. But guess what? They got the same kind of story that you have, right? You can relate to that. My sponsor, swastikas on him. White dude. That's my sponsor. Like, I love this guy.
What attracted you to him?
First of all, so like I said, I'm in treatment.
Yeah.
Playing softball one day. So this is like around 2 weeks sober. Yeah. I get to go on movement because in detox you can't move. Once I got moved to residential, you're able to move. Boom, we outside softball, but I'm still not feeling good. Yeah. But you know I'm okay. So I see it. This guy takes his shirt off.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold the fuck up. Where they got me at? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking. So I said, you know, just type. I gotta talk to him, man. Like, see what's going on. See what's going on, man. I never heard him say anything. I mean, this is the first time we're getting encountered, and I see him like that. And I said, yo, man, what's up with that? He was a tech at the time.
Yeah.
I said, what's up with that, man? We'll talk when we get back. Okay, boom. Okay, cool. So when we get back to the treatment center, he shares his story with me.
Wow.
After he got done talking, I said, can you be my sponsor?
Wow.
After he got done talking.
Yeah.
This white guy with swastikas on him. After he's telling me who he was. Right. I said, if you can conquer that with these steps and you can get, then I want you to lead me. Yeah. He had 5 years sober. He had 5 years sober at the time. He's got 15 now because I got 10. We still talk all the time. That's my guy. But it was what he said, man, and how he did it. Right. And I hadn't achieved and finished anything in my life. I was 34 years old. Right. Only thing I fucking finished maybe was my GED. I didn't finish parole, probation, because I was always violating. Right. I didn't finish anything. I had successfully drove myself to treatment. Right? And this is the second time. First time I was at a faith-based, Beings, Rights, and Jesus Christ. Yeah. I was there for 19 months, but that didn't take care of my core. Right? We didn't do shadow work there. Right? So that it was just holding me abstinent away, from the street.
Yeah.
Once I left
just
there.
removing yourself.
Yeah. Once I left there, I was back to drinking.
Right.
But when I got to California and I was able to hear him and, a company that with good treatment, you have to be ready, first of all. Let's just say that, right? Step 0.5. I got to concede to my innermost self that I'm an addict or an alcoholic. You got to be ready.
What does that mean to be an addict or an alcoholic for our listeners?
Powerless.
Yeah, powerless.
Powerless.
Which allows us to draw real power. Right?
Yeah.
When we can finally identify, I'm powerless over the, and as life goes along and we get sober, right, and we walk into recovery and our life progressively gets better, right, that becomes transferable to all different things, not only just the alcohol.
You're damn right.
But when we can identify, hey, I know what I have power over, which are my thoughts, my actions, my words, and I know what I don't have power over, right, that allows us to draw real power back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Still have the ism.
Yeah.
I'm still me.
Right.
That was one of the things that, when I'm going through this process, I was afraid of.
Right.
And I'm going to keep it real with you.
Yeah.
Am I going to lose myself? Giving all this to God.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I didn't, I'm going to do what you say.
Yeah.
Whatever you tell me, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what you say, but I was still holding some things back.
Because we had so many good things already, right? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like it says, look, in God's word, it says, he who clings to his life shall lose his life, but he who loses his life for my sake shall gain his life. And that's exactly what we did.
Right.
We lost the life that we once lived.
Yeah.
That man's dead. He's buried and he's gone. And now it's no longer I who lives, but it's he who lives inside of me.
Facts.
Right? My ways got me to the room. My ways got me incarcerated.
Right.
My ways got me hooked on drugs. That was the greatest revelation I ever received, bro, when I was in downtown and I had 25 years hanging over from my head.
Right.
It was like a movie film. Marco, you manifested a life beyond your wildest nightmares. I said, oh my God. But it was freeing because I realized I was the problem. right?
Yeah.
When did you realize like you were the problem? Like RJ is the problem.
Oh, I knew I was the problem way before I got to California.
Yeah.
I knew I was.
You knew you were the problem.
Yeah, I knew I was. I knew that, but I didn't know how to solve it.
Yeah.
There were clues though.
Yeah.
Meaning, growing up, you see those little keychains, NA keychains, AA keychains. Back in the day in the 80s and the 90s, they were like glow in the dark.
Yeah.
It was like maybe like a white little plastic keychain with NA in gold or AA, and it was like a little keychain, and I would see those. So somebody was trying. I don't know who it was, but somebody was trying. Yeah. In the house, inadvertently, not knowing, but just them being there. And we get put in these programs when you get locked up, drug court, or they send you to AA classes or something like that. But here again, you're not ready. A seed is being planted. Some people can get, but if you're ready to receive it.
Do you believe people have to go to the extent of a rock bottom that you or I went to? Or do you believe somebody can be ready right now in the here and now? Maybe after smoking some weed. Identify it and not go through that pain.
It all depends on you, whatever your rock bottom is. It all depends on your choice if you want something different.
Right.
I think I've came across so many different people,
right,
right, in my 10 years of sobriety. So many different walks of life, bro.
Right.
They get people only did the weed, right, and then they stopped and they changed their life.
Right.
But some people think that weed's not it's not a big deal,
right,
and then they don't make any progress.
Right.
It all depends on what you want different, and
right,
if you can identify, this is not good for me.
Right. It's not conducive.
It's not.
Right.
So for me, it's of course it's general,
right,
but at times it always was based on you,
right,
what you want different for yourself. I can say everything I can to you until I'm blue in the face,
right,
but until you're essentially, you say, you know what? Yeah, let me try that.
Right.
And there's only a few people, man, that I can honestly say, that have taken that advice,
right,
that have really,
really heated
to it. And I've lost a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I've lost a lot of people, man.
Yeah. What do you do when somebody's not willing, right? You want it for them. You want it for them. Yeah. And you see we talk about it, right? That word potential, it's overrated.
Overrated.
Right? When you want it for somebody, but they don't want it for themselves, what do you do in that situation?
You got to look at yourself.
Yeah.
The main thing that keeps me in joy and keeps me grateful is accountability. Yeah. That's it. Right. It's looking in the mirror and understanding that any person I come in contact with, see, this is the other thing too. We think we're so different. Everybody thinks they're so fucking different. Yeah. You got this person thinks that their family's different or this culture's different. Yeah. Well, we're all the same, bro.
Right. It says that there is no sin that isn't common to man, right? When you were talking about that lust in the beginning, right? The sexual desires. Men out there who don't identify, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. And the sooner we can be honest with ourselves and be able to identify our fallen state,
right,
the sooner we can reach to a life that's beyond our absolute wildest dreams.
Right.
But that takes an act of real humility, right?
Courage, man.
Courage.
Gotta have it.
I can't, but he can. And then being open and receptive to the people he sends us. Like, who would have ever thought that your sponsor would have swastikas?
Yeah, whatever.
Right.
All these things are new to me.
Right.
Right. But that was part of it, though. Like, it was getting uncomfortable to get comfortable.
Right.
Right. Like I said, everybody thinks they're so different. And sometimes, a lot of times, that can keep you away from a blessing.
Right.
Thinking that you're so different.
Yeah.
Oh, they won't like me.
Right.
This motherfucker right here?
Yeah.
It's mine, man.
Oh, yeah. The enemy's got nothing to do with an external force. That's just our inner me that we're dealing with.
It's the inner me, not the enemy.
Yeah.
It's the inner me. All these different stories I conjure up and think and make up in my mind. Yeah. And just think about it, you know, put yourself in different, experiences and situations, like, that wasn't that bad.
Let me ask you a question. 10 years sober, does your mind still conjure things up?
Yeah, all the fucking
Right.
time.
So out
You
there, if
can't
you think you're
stop
the
from
only one,
thinking. You
right?
can't stop.
Right.
You can't stop from thinking. But you can stop yourself from progress and moving forward
Right.
with allowing those thoughts to paralyze you.
Yes.
There has to be a way that you have to be able to just face your fear.
Right.
You got to face it if you want something different, right? And that's what I wanted. I wanted something different. So facing something that was different, that's what I did, and asking this man
Right.
to sponsor me. I don't care what it looks like, just, and then I'm getting these different examples while I'm in treatment of guys that just weren't ready, young guys. I'm getting ready to, because guys ain't paying attention in class, I'm ready to fight and throw my shit away.
Yeah.
Right? But I had to have somebody say, nah,
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Okay, now I got to understand. Now what we call playing the tape all the way through, I'm able to do that in so many different instances. But at times I can't. I'm still me, bro. I'm still me. I'm not perfect. By no means. My papa would say, I'm not perfect. I don't want to be around nobody perfect. How about that?
Right.
Because what can you share with me? How can we grow and develop? How can we learn if you're perfect? No. I'm still going through things because I still want to learn. Yeah. And inside of these 10 years, there's things that I've done and put myself in that didn't align with the program or didn't align with my sobriety. Right. But here again, I'm going to go back to the steps. If I didn't have a solid work of that book and a solid work in them steps, I probably would have. No, not probably. I definitely would have relapsed or indulged in whatever I was dealing with, whatever the case was, because I seen it happen to so many other people.
I know you on a personal level, right? I know personal development's huge in your life, right? So outside of the steps, what are other things other tools that you've incorporated that have helped you progressively have a better life?
Just listening, right? Yeah. Listening. I love hearing people talk, right? Podcasts like this platform we're doing right now. For somebody out there that's just flipping through YouTube or whatever the case may be, and they stumble upon this. Those are gems. Those are different things that you can get to go to the other side. Working out, being able to be by myself, being alone, right? Because a lot of times I hear people say, I can't be by myself because they're afraid of what that looks like. But once you work them steps, you got to understand, for somebody like me and you that have worked it, or other people, you'll hear us talk about it. We're going to beat it in your head because there's so much solution.
Yeah. That's all it is.
For anything that you can think about in your life that you're going through is inside of those steps.
Do you believe that people universally, outside of just addicts and alcoholics, can utilize the steps in their life?
Absolutely. My mother is sober now.
Praise God. Yep.
Right? She runs women's groups and meetings. Right. She got almost 5 years sober, 4.5. We didn't talk during a portion of my sobriety. Right. Me and my father didn't talk through a portion of my sobriety. Like I said, things are going to happen in your sobriety. This is why I, damn near beg and plead guys that are coming in to work the steps, because you know what? Life is going to happen. Yeah. Do you have a toolbox? Do you have coping skills? Do you have things that are going to allow you to deal with whatever is going to happen in your life? I lost the best man in my life, my papa. Right. But getting high was not an option.
Right.
Once you work them steps, there's just certain things that you don't even think about.
Right.
No, it's how am I going to deal with it and how I'm going to make my family okay? That's what you think about. Yeah. You don't think about how I'm going to fucking throw gas on this fire.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to think about how I can solve any other issues that are happening from this, right?
Less about
outside.
Less about self.
Less about self.
And more being of service.
That's right.
Right?
That's it,
to
man.
Who's going through it.
That's
How has service played a role in your life? Because I know you to be a huge man of service.
Yeah, man. Like I said, even, I think God has just blessed me with that even before sobriety. I just love helping people, man.
Did it go from people pleasing to being of service? I know a lot of people, deal with people pleasing when they're in addiction or when they're younger,
Yeah.
right? And they get those two confused,
Right.
right? People pleasing and being of service. Were you subject to it or no?
Nah, man, no. I was always for me, it was pleasing myself.
Yeah.
Not maybe pleasing that person, but it was more so about just being able to because here again, I love my life and I love where I came from because I've been able to see many different actions and ways of people and snakes in the grass and
Yeah.
I've seen this motherfuckers to do something for you just so they can do something.
Yeah.
And then I've seen people do things out of the kindness of their heart just because I'm going to do it for you. I ain't even got it. My mom's like that. She going to give you whatever she ain't got it. She going to give it to you. That's just how she carry it. It ain't about what you can do for me. That's just okay, they need help. Okay, boom, that's it.
So we just do it.
We just do it.
With no conceived notions.
No.
No conceived
Even if
notions.
they're an asshole.
Right.
And I catch myself doing the same thing.
Right.
I had an instance where a family member had tried to say I was drinking or something
Yeah.
like that. We know that's not correct.
Yeah.
But she going through something in her own life. She getting older, she's been through some things and she's got some mental issues, right? I'm being sympathetic to that. I'm having consideration. I don't allow that to run me and thinking all this kind of shit. And
Right.
I called her the other day and told her I loved her, checked on her.
Right.
That's the type of person I am.
When you shared that love rather than be, critiquing her or whatever it may
Right.
be, how did you get a different response? I'm sure you weren't always like that, where if somebody came at you in that manner, you were able to show them that love or that
Right.
forgiveness. How has love and forgiveness played a role in your life today?
Part of the program, man.
Yep.
Making the amends, right?
Yep.
It's none of my business. I'm trying to clean up my side of the street, right? For me and my walk.
Right.
I can't allow you to live to rent that space in my head.
Yeah.
I can't do it, man. I'm not gonna do it. I gotta free myself, making it right. Because I've seen what that has done.
Right.
Here again, life is about experiences, man. Right?
Right.
And being able to always keep those experiences at the forefront because when you encounter that similar experience,
Right.
you can add on. Or you can, okay, this is what happened then. Like you calculating.
Right. You start seeing cycles. You
You
start
st-
seeing
right,
patterns. Right. Now you got vision beyond what your eyes can see.
That's it.
Right.
Right? Because you're able to put things in place. Right?
Right.
And, not wanting to allow negativity
Yeah.
to just run my life.
Right.
Because I see, you see what that does. You've seen somebody that's just always negative or just worried about the
Right.
negative or allow that to
Consume them.
Consume that.
Right. Consume.
Nah, man, we too blessed for that.
Too blessed to be stressed.
Too blessed to be
Too
stressed.
blessed to be stressed. When people call me at times, and Marco, how you doing? Man, I'm blessed beyond measure. And I'm so blessed
Right.
that I'm losing count of my blessings. I believe in recovery that routine plays a huge part. What does your daily routine look like?
Oh,
Structure.
man. Right now, managing a sober living.
Right.
And here again, man, these are different things that have happened in my life, bro. 10 years sober and I'm managing a sober living. Working in behavioral health, and I've been at the pinnacle, right? Where I've been able to build treatment centers, right? Help people get sober. And now I'm managing a sober living. But guess what, though? That was because decisions that I made.
Yeah.
That wasn't nobody else's fault. That's my fault. Either mismanaging money, mismanaging my time, doing different things that didn't allow me. I'm right where my decisions got me. And if a person can understand that and be accountable and take responsibility for your actions, ain't no need to be mad.
Right.
Ain't no need to be upset. This is what I did. This is where I'm at. Now, I got to change to where I'm
going to go.
where I want to go. That's it. But if I'm pointing and blaming and all this kind of shit, then that can create something else.
Yeah. And you know that.
And I know that because we've seen it.
Yeah, we know where our decisions are going to lead us, whether it's good and whether it's bad. But what I have seen, right, because I'm still there every 8 days getting my beer done, right, is you still got peace.
Right.
You still got joy.
Right.
Right. These are things that nobody can steal. Happiness.
Right.
Happiness, it comes and goes. right? It
That's it.
sways with the winds of the world,
Right.
right? But peace and joy is something that nobody can steal from us.
Right.
And overall character,
Right.
right? Regardless of what you're going through, right? You're not conforming to the situation.
No.
You're remaining
Right.
who you are at the core because you got a foundation to run back to.
That's right.
Which is pivotal, and it's huge. So what is that structure? What does that routine look like for you today?
And here again, you have to be, well, you don't have to do anything, but if you want a different result, when you get knocked down,
Yeah.
you have to be okay with, especially, let me just speak to the addicts and alcoholics, right? When you get knocked down, and you're at a high point, there's no need, here again, I said it, to throw gas on the fire, right? If you worked a solid program and you get knocked down, just be okay with where you're at because you're not high and you're not drunk. I used to go to this meeting, as Bill sees it, every morning, right? No matter what. There was these old ladies, and no matter what, it's a no matter what club. No matter what happened, we not drinking and we not using. That was just it. I don't care what happens. We're not doing that. That's not going to make it any better, right? So, inside of that, you wake up. I run and walk every day, taking care of the guys in the house. Make sure I do all my updates, my emails. Check on my mom, check on my grandma, and that's what's beautiful for me too, man. My family's good.
Yeah.
And they're not looking at me crazy no more.
Yeah.
They're not.
They're coming to you for solution today.
Because
what a beautiful thing.
Because everything matches.
Right.
Right. The walk matches the talk. I ain't just talking no more. You know how we were back in the day. You just talk. Yep. You just talk. And now when somebody comes to you with that bullshit, you already know what it looks like. Yeah. Like
them smoke and mirrors.
Come on, man. You already know. You already know. So allowing me being able to see that, come on, man. I don't ever want to see the other side no more. Right. There's so many other things that when I'm seeing them and my family and my sister, me and her like that, my nephew, my son, God and the program had just repaired everything.
Is reading a part of your life today?
I'm more so a podcast dude and audio book.
Okay.
If I'm gonna listen to something, yeah, it's gonna be through an audio. I got ADHD, cuz.
You and I both. You and I.
It's hard, man. It's hard. Yeah.
You and I both. Yeah. I'll get the golden nuggets. I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm gonna go apply that.
Right.
Give me 2-3 audiobooks that change your life. Give me a pot, because I know every time I come to the barbershop, right, you're giving me some type of game, right? We're listening to some type of podcast.
Yeah,
right?
man.
Give me one podcast. Give me one podcast and give me 2 books.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So a podcast right now.
Outside of Journey to Solutions, because we already know
that's going to be the future. Of course. Journey to Solutions, number one, of course, off top. Honestly, man, there's a guy by the name of Dr. Bobby Price, Fruits and Roots, that podcast. Just talks about how to take care of yourself, on the alkaline side of your body, all that kind of shit. Because that's what I'm working on. Because here again, addiction to food, that's one, that's nonstop. We're trying to get that right.
We're gonna do a whole episode on that alone.
Awesome.
Yeah, episode on that alone.
And back in the day, man, a book that changed my life was Bo Knows Bo. That was my first book I ever wrote. I ever read, and I related to that book. It was Bo Jackson. Right. He stuttered. I stuttered when I was young, and his grandmom helped out with a lot of his life, and I was able to relate to that.
Yeah.
So that's a solid foundation I have, and that really changed my life.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But before we close out, right? First things first, I got to tell them a story.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And them off on the laugh.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna give them one golden nugget that absolutely transformed your life.
Absolutely.
So I've been going to RJ for the past 7 years now for haircuts, right? And I was going to him before I got married and after I got married, right? And that piece of context is gonna be super important to the story, right? So every time I go, right, he cut my hair and he does his thing, right? And since I got married, I started balding a little bit in the front. Anybody who's married out there knows exactly what I'm talking about, right? So I would go there, and RJ would turn me around in the chair. He would look in the mirror, and he would just give me that RJ grin, right? Finally, I come in for a haircut. He turns me around, turns me back around. He turns me back around again, and he says, cuz, listen. He goes, you know I love you, right? It's all love. He goes, but I'm not a magician. I'm a barber, right? I said, all
How
right,
much you want
fam.
me to do,
I said,
cuz?
all right, fam. I said, you know what? Take it off. And you know what? If you were selfish, you would have kept cutting my hair because
That's
you
a
would get an
fact.
extra
No, it's not
$30 on
about
it.
that. It's not about
You would have
that.
got an extra $30 on
Right.
that.
It's not about that.
But you took it off, and it was the greatest decision
Look
I
at you.
had ever
You're like a fucking sex symbol
made.
right
Come
now.
on,
Look
look
at
at
you.
this.
Look at him.
Look at this.
Fucking guy.
It was the greatest decision I ever made. But that's it. The honesty,
That's
right?
it. That's it.
Being
That's it, man.
truthful.
That's
Like
it.
you told me, like, look, fam, it's time, right? The
That's
baloney
it.
patch got a little bit too
Right.
deep, right? It's time to take it off.
That's it.
Right? So I'm even grateful. I'm even grateful for that. But I had to tell them that
Absolutely.
story because
Yeah.
everywhere I go, when they ask me how does it feel, I always bring that up.
No doubt.
Right? Let's close out with a golden nugget that you received in your life, right?
Yeah.
That has transformed your outlook that you can share with our listeners.
Man, there's so many, right? There's so many. But my papa, at the end of the day, brutal honesty.
Yeah.
Changed my life.
Honesty.
Brutal honesty. Because if you're not brutally honest with yourself and others, it can hurt.
Right.
It may sound like something light, but brutal honesty meaning I don't care if it's going to hurt your feelings or not. I got to be honest with you, and I have to be honest with myself.
Right.
If I want something different.
Right.
Like the program. Honesty in chapter 5 is how it works. Honesty is in there the first couple paragraphs. It's in there like 3 or 4 times.
Right.
If I'm not honest, I'm not going to make any progress to nothing because
Yep. And that's true love, right? A lot of times we have a contorted way of thinking what love is. My wife and I were talking the other day, and we were walking through the Word of God with one another, and I told her, I said, if Jesus was around today, most people would think he's mean.
Exactly.
Most people think he's mean.
Exactly.
Right? But it's love, because we know that a lie ends in death, but we know truth ends in eternal life.
That's a fact.
Right?
That's
so just that simple nugget, honesty.
Honesty, man.
Honesty.
And brutal honesty. Just like I was being brutally honest about your head.
Yeah.
It's brutal,
Yeah.
right? It can be brutal to the person that's receiving it.
Yep.
But if you're conveying it with no volition, if you're giving it with love, that honesty with love, they may not be able to accept it then. Right? But when they have different life experiences, they can accept it down the road. And that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Fam, I appreciate you,
man.
like always.
Always.
We're going to get back on another episode.
Absolutely.
Before we close out, if there's anybody out there who's struggling with addiction or mental health, please feel free to reach out to us. Our number is in the bio. Stay blessed.
Oh, can I shout out?
Please.
Next Step Recovery, #1 sober living in Orange County. If you have anybody out there that wants that needs solid sober living, 12-step based, Next Step Recovery, reach out.
Where can people find you? Instagram, Facebook?
Instagram, official label mate 856. And I'm pretty sure if you guys reach out to Marco through Journey to Solutions, you can get right in contact with me, and then we can put anything together you need.
Happy to be of service. Remember that our lives are the greatest blueprint and roadmap to another person's breakthrough.